Hey, for those who don't already know, my name is Seth. I'm 15 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California, but grew up in Austin, Texas up until about the age of 11. And I love film. Whether it's creating or watching, I thrive off of films. But it wasn't always like that. Now, what I'm about to say isn't me asking for pity. All this is simply a way for me to look back and think about how I ended up where I am. For whenever in the future I start getting in my head for whatever reason, I want to refer myself back to this moment. So, I'm not sure how to start this off. So I'm just going to get right into it by saying that I don't know my mom. To explain what went wrong, I got to take it back to a time when everyone thought flip phones were the shit, back when everyone listened to 50 Cent, and when Ed Hardy was still a thing, somewhere around 2009. I was 6 years old, and I didn't know much about the world. But even when I was that age, I knew there was something wrong with my mother. I knew she smoked cigarettes. I knew she would come home extremely late, and from hearing conversations amongst my family, I understood that sooner than later, her and my dad would split. And of course, I was right. When it happened, I had to live with a foster family while they worked out the divorce, but that was very short-lived, so about a month after that, my two sisters and I moved in with my dad. And I never saw my mom again. For the longest time, I never asked questions for two reasons. One, I loved my dad very much and I would always take his side. And two, I knew I would never understand. I mean, hell, I thought at the time Earth got cold in December because of moon sand. Don't ask what moon sand is because I honestly don't even know. However, life was weird. That year on Mother's Day, I was in school and I didn't know how to explain to the other kids in my grade why exactly my mom didn't show up to Mother's Day festivities. And whenever someone would ask, I'd get super tense and feel super uncomfortable, and oftentimes I'd make up some lie. But after the divorce, something else happened. My dad and my sisters bonded by going to the movies, which honestly didn't happen a lot before, but we would literally go to the movies every single Saturday. It was our way of escaping any problems that followed. And guess what happened? I got so inspired every single Saturday. Dude, I eventually got around to picking up my dad's phone and shoot something stupid like me doing martial arts or me doing dancing. Fast forward a few years later, and I get my first camera. I'd meet with some friends and shoot some silly sketch. Fast forward even more, and I continued to do the same thing, but now I moved to LA with my dad. At that point, I started thinking that it's time for me to really understand what happened with my mom. Because, I mean, let's face it, smoking cigarettes and coming home late aren't the only things that can make a family separate. I found out that it was more than just cigarettes. I found out that those late nights, she wasn't being loyal. She clearly never cared, so I didn't care. And most importantly, I was happy. I went on to shoot my first short film within the first year of living in LA. I was lucky enough to rent out a Red Dragon, but honestly, that was so much for me to handle for my first short film. Then, I found out about Ghetto Film School, and I become fully immersed into this experience. Filmmaking makes me sane. I knew that was the case when I saw my work screened in a movie theater with people I've never met before. Hearing the applause from the audience was surreal. It's a feeling I can't explain, and I can never say thank you enough. I want to say thank you to Ernie Reyes Jr. for helping me throughout my entire journey and helping me get started. Thank you to Gavin O'Connor for always being there when I needed some solid advice and really taking me behind the scenes at Warner Brothers. Thank you to everyone who provided any kind of support on my projects. And most importantly, thank you to my dad and my sisters for continuing to help me grow as both a person and a creator. Because of the people I'm surrounded by, and despite any challenges I may have faced in my life, I'm beyond ready for the future and what it will bring. And to everyone watching this, I love you.